part.
So you got the heart sitting there.
Okay.
If you pull the heart down, you can see the superior vena cava coming in the top. Remember, veins are blue, taking blood to the heart. If you lift the heart up forward like this, you'll see the inferior vena cava down here.
Wait, which one is that?
Right here on top of my
finger.
finger.
I see it. Okay.
It's coming up like that from the inferior portion. And then as you take the heart and pull it down, you're going to see part of the aorta here. If I pull the lungs all the way to the side, you can see how it changes into what they call the thoracic aorta. That's bringing down the blood through the thoracic region. It'll penetrate through the diaphragm. You can actually start to see the aorta down here as it passes through the mesentery there. And there's just the rest of the inferior vena cava right next to it. So see the red is the aorta, vena cava right next to it. So think about like I-20 eastbound, I-20 westbound.
And that's the superior vena cava?
No,
No,
it's
inferior.
Superior's up here,
All
just
right.
this little short one here.
Okay. Okay. Carotid artery.
Carotid arteries will be the red ones running up through the neck. There's the jugular vein there. Carotid arteries are a little bit deeper typically. There you can see it. See the red one running up through the neck there? Runs right next to your trachea, which is right here. And so the carotid artery, jugular vein.
Which one's the jugular? The thick piece? Oh, the blue one.
The blue.
Okay, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, so renal artery. Renal?
Here's the kidneys. So you can see the renal vein very easily coming out like that. The artery is usually just deep to it, so if you take the kidney, you have to pull it off.
Oh my God.
Like Velcro.
There on the back side, you can see the red.
It's on the back side of the kidney?
Well, it's just
Or-
deep to the vein, so you have to pull the kidney forward. So see the red one there? That's the renal artery. Whereas if you pull it forward, now you can see the renal vein. If you can get this adipose tissue apart enough, there you can actually see it.
Okay.
So see, there's the renal vein, there's the renal artery right next to it. The kidneys actually sit in what they call a retroperitoneal position. So that's why I had to pull that forward. So like when you laminate something, you press it to it and you put the laminate on top of it. So you've got the parietal peritoneum that laminates it to the back of the wall. So that's why I had to pull it forward.
So it's retroperitoneal?
Retroperitoneal, like
Oh,
retro rock.
okay.
You ever listen to retro rock?
No.
It's rock from a long time, old school. So retro means from behind. You're too young to know what retro means.
Oh, thank you. Okay, and then we're spleen.
Spleen.
Just want to make sure we know where we're
Always going to wrap around here. So here's the stomach. So here's the spleen. Looks kind of like a cow tongue. And if you take this greater momentum and pull it up to the head like a sheet, what you'll see is the pancreas that runs right next to the duodenum, and then it comes through that connective tissue, the mesentery. You can see how it stops right there, and it points to the spleen. So this whole thing here is the pancreas forming an L for you guys on that side. For us on this side, it looks like the letter number 7. And it runs parallel to the duodenum here. So the duodenum is this thick muscular tube, and then that little, looks like silly putty or chewing gum, that's the pancreas. So see the difference? Here's the mesentery where you can see my finger through it, and then you can see that silly putty or that chewing gum right next to the muscular tube called the duodenum. No, it's not.
Well,
To me, this looks like chicken fajita meat.
I'm never gonna eat that again.
So how you make it? You fry it in the pancreas. You have to fry it in the pan. See, redneck ways of remembering stuff. Chitlins, menudo,
Okay, so moving on.
boudin,
You say mood.
haggis. Yeah, boudin.
Lymph vessels.
You won't see those on the cat.
Okay, not on the cat.
Only
So
on the torso
no
models.
lymphatic on cat.
No lymphatic vessels or lymph nodes. You got the spleen.
Oh yeah, but we got
Okay,
that already.
and then the thymus, remember, has to be on that baby model. The thymus grows typically right on top of the heart, but this is an older cat, so you can't see a thymus on it because it's already atrophied.
Okay. So and then the urinary system. We got the
Okay.
kidneys.
So you got the kidneys.
Use it.
So what I do with the kidneys is I take the urinary bladder here and pull it down towards the legs, and you can see the little tube there running through the
Sorry, guys.
parietal
okay,
peritoneum,
yeah.
and you can see the other
It's
one
very thin.
over here. If I get my finger underneath it. So those are the ureters, and they're running down from each one of the kidneys. Whereas if I take the bladder and pull it up towards the head, now you can see the urethra, that little tube that leads out of the body. So remember, 2 kidneys, 2 ureters, 1 urinary bladder, 1 urethra.
They kind of look like what you call them bags. catheter bag.
There you go.
There you go. Okay, yeah. Remember that.
It looks like a deflated cup.
Well, when you die, you usually lose skeletal muscle control, so your bladder and your rectum
Empties
will
out.
void.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know where that is. All right, and then we're on.
So when you need to use the restroom, use it because you might die in the next second. You don't want to be a stinky corpse.
Oh, this is a female cat, right?
This is a male.
Oh, it is a male.
Because
Okay.
if you pull the bladder up like this, the uterus would be here and the uterine horns would come out if it were female. If it's male, when you pull the bladder out, you're just going to see the rectum behind it.
And
See
that's what
down
we
here, you
see
can
right
actually
there.
see part of the scrotum. This is where the testes are housed down here. Because remember, the scrotum is part of the integumentary system.
Right. Okay.
They done did this man wrong.
So we don't have to.
He had 9 lives.
Oh, we have to tell. We have to tell you which, if it's a female cat or male cat, or are you just gonna tell us? Okay, I have
Well,
one.
that's a great question. Thanks for bringing that up. I'm not at that.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, she hasn't been thinking of that one. We've already done that.
No, okay.
Just wanted to throw her under the bus.
No. Okay, so and then esophagus, you showed us what that was already.
Well, the trachea is up here, and then the esophagus is going to sit right next to it. It's just the clavicle. Looks like they have cut the trachea out of this cat. But here is the esophagus here, which is this. It almost looks like a deflated bicycle tire tube. So that's the hollow tube there. Oh, there's the trachea on the side. It's just buried. So see how the trachea has the cartilaginous
okay,
rings in
yeah.
it? And sitting just posterior to it is this deflated tube, which is the esophagus. So when it's sitting there normally, it's going to sit like this. Trachea being ventral or anterior, and then the esophagus just posterior or deep or dorsal to the trachea. When you rub your fingers back and forth, you can feel it, that hollow organ rubbing back and forth in there.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, what's the jejunum?
Jejunum.
Jejunum.
So duodenum, jejunum, and ileum are the 3 regions to the small intestine. So remember, what you have to do is find the stomach first. And so the first part of the intestine coming out of the stomach is the duodenum. Remember, that's where the pancreas runs right next to it. So what I do is I hold on to that, pull all the intestines off to the side, and then find the colon. Follow the colon back up. See how it's nice and big compared to the skinniness of this? And when you get to the beginning of it, see that little thumb-like looking structure right there? It looks like a thumb. That's the cecum. So the last portion of the small intestine coming into the cecum, this is the ileum. So the first part attached to the stomach's duodenum, last portion ileum, everything else in the middle, we call it the jejunum. So it's duodenum, that's right, DJICC, duodenum, jejunum, ileum, cecum, colon. Now in reality, the first 3 or 4 feet is the duodenum, the next 10 feet is jejunum, the last 10 feet is the ileum. But you have to take histology pictures of those to be able to differentiate one from the other. So for our purposes in lab, we just said the last part attached to the cecum is the ileum. The first portion attached to the stomach is the duodenum. Everything else, jejunum. So duodenum, jejunum, ileum, cecum, colon.
Okay. All right. Okay. And then gallbladder.
Gallbladder is in between the folds of the liver. So this is the liver here. So you pull that apart, that little deflated sac. That's the gallbladder there. Sometimes it's going to be a real forest green appearance because that's the color of the bile that it stores inside there.
And what you did, you pulled what back?
The liver, there's lobes to the liver. So when the liver is sitting there like that, you'll usually see like a little slit. And the gallbladder, if it were full, would kind of stick through that hole a little bit. So that little sac right there, that's the gallbladder.
All right. And then liver.
Yep.
That's what you just pulled. Pancreas. Yeah, that.
We did that one. Remember, you find the stomach. It's just behind
Oh
the
yeah.
stomach.
Yeah,
So you pull that forward. So you got the pancreas that runs through the mesentery and then runs parallel to the duodenum. So this is the duodenum here. This is the pancreas running across here
Right.
towards the spleen.
And then salivary glands.
Sometimes you can see those on the cat, depending on how the person dissected it. And there's one underneath that blue vessel right there. The main place you're going to find the salivary glands is on the torso
Oh,
molars.
okay. All right.
But you can actually feel that and feel how it feels like a gland.
So are all of these that you pointed out just now going to be the ones on the lab test?
Maybe.
That was good one. I was gonna ask the same thing.
Okay,
It is a possible test question. How's that?
okay.
Because remember, this is where I go and I pull out to make the test. But I'm only going to pull 8 or 9 per
Oh, okay.
hairball. Sorry.
So and then you said now the only thing for the rats we're gonna do is the
Reproductive and integumentary.
Can we look at that too? As anybody else?
Where are the rats?
I
Are
don't
they out
know.
already?